So we're looking at level 2 English reading section, and we're looking at textual features. We're going to look at what sort of different features are within a text, what sort of format you can do for a text, and so on here. And you'll be happy to see there's not any videos for me to play and for you not to listen to today, because we have audio issues, don't we? There you go. Wrong one. There you go, the correct one. So the aims and outcomes of today's lesson. So by the end of today's lesson, you're going to be able to identify the purpose of a text through its language and its format. You'll be able to identify whether a text can be understood through its main points only. And then you'll also be able to understand when a text needs specific details to be understood. So you should know how to do the 5 W's to understand text. Does anybody remember what the 5 W's are? If you don't, that's okay, I can go over them as well. So I'll go over them. So the 5 W's are, when you ask the questions, who, when, where, what, and why. So you look at a text and you're looking at these questions. Who is it? When is it? Where is it taking place? What is it and why is it being done, or why is it being told to us? So these 5 W's are what you look at and you try and understand a text. These 5 W's, you actually do it unconsciously anyway. So you don't sit there and think, oh, who is it? Or when did this happen? Or where did this happen? Or what did this happen over here? Or why is this happening? Or why are they telling me this? You don't actually physically think those things. So when you come onto the traditional part of learning English, of understanding it in these type of courses, it can be a little confusing thinking, I don't use this, what's going on? But to be honest, you probably do this on a normal basis anyway. This is just putting a name, some terms onto what you do instinctually. So you should be able to use the 5 W's to understand text. And you should also be able to use, so afterwards, after this, you could always use the 5 W's to understand different meanings of different texts. We just had somebody else join us now, and they're not on audio yet. So we've got 4 principal purposes of a text. Now, these purposes of the text are there just to let you know why you're reading this or what this is for. Now, the purposes of these are, you might get a piece of written work that will give you instructions or give you information. It's there to inform you about something that is happening or has happened. The piece of written work might be there to describe something. It might be there to persuade you. You know, if you ever see any posters for holidays, they'll say, come visit us, or, you know, come walk in, and there'll be like these really nice images of beaches and people enjoying themselves with soft drinks and drinks with umbrellas and so on, just trying to persuade you to do a certain thing. Or like if you've ever seen an advertisement on in a newspaper where they're trying to sell you a pair of shoes, they're going to try and make them as attractive and use the best type of words to persuade you to come and do something. And then another purpose of a text could be to explain something, to let you know the information, to explain what is going on. So when judging a text purposes, we look at the following things. So we're looking at what type of text is it. So there can be a whole load of different text types. There can be newspapers, there can be journals, there can be articles. So it can be a newspaper article, it can be a website article, it could be a book, a magazine, a newsletter, a leaflet, and you know, it could be anything really, any type of work that's written down. So what is the context of a text? So is it formal or is it informal? So what sort of language are they using? Are they using simple sentences or are they using complex sentences? Is it in paragraphs, or is it like bullet points, or is it just simple sentences that I've been doing? What sort of format is it in? And does it have statistics or numbers? So is it something where they're giving you all these stats and information about maybe pollution or homelessness, like you saw the last week or the week before, where you had 3 different documents, but one of them told you loads of different numbers and statistics? And then what is the format of it? Does it have a heading? Does it use subheadings? And are there any visual aids, like do they have pictures or charts or graphs, something there to visually show you something? And then again, who is the audience? So is it a sports fan? Is it somebody who likes cooking? Is it men, women? Is it the general public? Is it for everybody within the population, say within England? Is it for children? Is it for teachers? Is it for businessmen, businesswomen? Who is this for? Who is this audience for? So depending on the language that is used, you can guess that, and even sometimes the topic that is used, you can guess who this text is for. So we're looking at this here. So what is its type? We're going to look at the purpose and who is the audience. Now, I'm going to read through this and then I'll go through these little sections here. Oh my, it's Sally and Robin. TV Sally Turner can't wait to bag her own lordship. Here she is enjoying a park date with the actor she can't wait to wed. Sally, 31, will be seen locking lips with Ed Croft on the BBC's Sunday night drama Lord Finchley. But she was spotted enjoying a smooch with fellow actor Robin Price, who starred with her in BBC One's Body Double as they walked their dog in the sunshine. The pair have kept their relationship low-key, with Sally finally letting slip that they were engaged in an interview last week. So, with this here, we've got, oh my, it's Sally and Robin. It's a nice, fun, light-hearted, free headline. So you can tell straight away it's not something serious. It's a bit of extra information. It's just a bit of fluff, really. They're using informal language over here. So when they say can't wait to bag her own lordship and she can't wait to wed. So instead of saying she can't wait to be married or she's having a wedding, they're using informal language on here. So they're using contractions. So contractions are when a word or a phrase is shortened. So like TVs is shortened, they put an apostrophe over here. Let me just get my little marker up there. So this is shortened because they put an apostrophe there. They could have done televisions, Sally Turner, but they didn't. Instead of saying cannot, they done can't. So this is a contraction again. They've got an apostrophe. They've cut some words out. They've put it together. Again, you've got can't again. You've got it's over here again. So they're using a lot of contraction on here. Then they're also using something called colloquialism. I can never say that. Colloquialism on here. Now, colloquialism is actually when you're using informal language. It's the way that we speak with certain people. You adapt your tone or your language or the phrases that you use depending on who your audience is and who you're actually talking to. It might be talking to children, you might be talking to family members, you might be talking to your best friend. So you're a bit more informal, you're a bit more lighthearted. When you're at work, you'll probably end up being using more formal language because it's not the right place to be lighthearted or colloquial with that. And then you've got an image that they've used over here just to highlight. It's them two. They talked about both of them being engaged, about to get married. They're walking their dog in the park. So you've got an image to support that. And then you've got short paragraphs. So it's nice and simple with that. And then it's just all nice, simple, very easy, informal language. And then you've also got information that you don't actually really need. So this could have finished, here she is enjoying a park date, and it could have stopped there. But in the brackets, it's giving you extra information in there. So you'll know that it's giving you information just to pinpoint what they're talking about. get rid of this now. What we're going to do is we're going to try activity 1 in a second, and we'll go on to that in a bit. So first we're going to talk about what we just looked at. So that was a newspaper article. The purpose was there to inform you and also describe the situation that these people were in. They're talking about some TV actors who are getting married, and they're talking about one of the ladies. The lady, she's actually in another program, and she's going to be kissing another guy in this program as well. So they're just giving you like a bit of fluff, a bit of celebrity gossip. The audience might be young people who are interested in celebrity gossip, but again, it can be for anyone who just likes. Maybe they like the program that they were in. If they were from EastEnders, maybe if you like EastEnders, you would want to listen to news about the actors. Same with Holby City or Doctor Who. So if you like that program, you're going to want to know what the people that star in it are doing. So what are the main points of this article? So one of the main points is that an actress is dating another TV celebrity. The other main points of interest are that she's starring in a TV show and she kisses a different actor in the show. So this article, it just wants to get your attention. This main point that is here, that's more than enough for you to click on and find out what is going on. This is more than enough. But it's giving you extra information to keep you interested and to give you a bit of more juicy details. But these, again, these points, they're not, you could do without those. They're not important. You could have just read this and you would have been happy with reading that, because that's the main point of what they're doing. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want me to clarify on these sections before we go on activity 1? I'm going to hope that your silence is meaning everything is fine, we know what's going on. So let's go. For this section, I'm going to need you to speak to me, or I'm going to start picking on people. There you go. So we've got activity 1. So this is similar to what you're going to be doing for your homework. Now, we're going to read this text about a football called Jeannie Ellis. We're going to look at what type of text it is, what is or what are the main points of the text, and who is the audience on here. So I'm going to read this now. Jeannie aims to surprise at World Cup. At 16, Jeannie Ellis upped sticks to pursue football. Not many people leave Bingley, that's what's said, says the centre forward. But that is what it took, and now at 19, she's the youngest member of Phil Neville's squad for the World Cup. She is a shock inclusion and hopes to make the most of her time at the tournament. Ellis is determined to feature and will try and show what she's got in training to force the manager to give her game time in France. Everything's happened in a short space of time, and it's been hard for me to be able to manage my emotions because it's all just been a whirlwind, she says. It's hard for me to express how I feel because I don't think it's real. Sometimes I've got to pinch myself that I'm actually here and I'm going to compete for England at a World Cup, she adds while absent-mindedly pinching the skin on her hand. So we looked at this little section here, and now I'd like for you to answer these questions. So what type of text is this? Can somebody tell me what text this is? Is it an email? Is it a newsletter? Is it an article? Is it on a website? Is it in a newspaper? What sort of text have we just looked at? Class, are you here?
Yeah, we are with you.
Fantastic.
I think it's an article.
Yeah, here.
Oh, fantastic. So, you think it's an article? Yeah?
Yeah.
So, what type of article do you think it is? Is it a newspaper article? Is it a website article?
It's a sport article.
Yeah. So it could be either, to be honest. It could be a newspaper or a website. It doesn't really matter. We know it's an article. It's someone talking about a specific. So who's the audience here? Who is this article aimed at? So if you look back up here, it's about a young girl who's plays football and she's going to the World Cup. So who would want to read about football?
Sport lovers.
Yes,
Young people who
sports
are into
lovers,
sport.
sports fans. And also, because it's about a young lady, it might be women and young children. They might be interested and it might inspire them, saying, oh, she got to do it when she was 16. That's amazing. I'm going to try hard now. And then, what is the main idea of this text?
I think it's Jean's aspiring career. It's just talking about her career in general and how she's aspiring. Yes.
So it is as well. So it's about her career. It's about what she's inspiring to do. So is it there to instruct you or inform you? Is it there to describe, to persuade, or explain? What do you think?
Explain.
Yeah, it's explain, but also inform, because it gives you a few things.
Yeah. And encourage as well.
Yes. I'll write that down. There you go. So the main idea of this is to inform and explain this young lady's career. And it also, I would also say that it describes what sort of selection is happening in England. So it describes the selection. Oh, why have I done a capital there? There you go. I should never type fast because, as Placidia will know from earlier, and Nancy, it's not a good thing. I always get so many spelling mistakes on trying to type down fast. There you go. So it's to inform and to explain this young lady's career. And it also describes the selection for the England football team as well. So it gives you a lot of different things. So this one little article, and again, it's got a picture of her. So if it didn't have a picture of her, you wouldn't really be that bothered. You're not interested. You want to put a face to a name as well. So it's a newspaper article or it's a website article, but we know it's an article. The audience is sports lovers and fans, women and young children as well. So it could be anyone really. And it's there to inform and explain about this young lady's career, and it also describes the selection for the England football team and what she wants to be doing with it. So your homework is going to be very similar to what we've just done now. You're going to read 3 little sections, 3 different texts, and you're going to answer a few questions on those.
Okay.
And now we've got this one over here. Again, another example of a text. So what is the type, the purpose, and who's the audience? So this is the title over here. So you've got clear headline. So number of over 65 still in work doubles in a decade. So the number of people aged over 65 who are still working has more than doubled in a decade to nearly 500,000. So new research has shown. It is believed to be due to changes in retirement age. This is formal language, especially when this is, it is believed. Then the number of those aged over 65 who are in full or part-time employment has been steadily rising year on year for the past decade. So according to the new StatGov data, reaching a UK peak of 467,946 in the first quarter of this year, it has increased of 132% since 2009. Now, this is a long, complex sentence because it gives you statistics in here. It's talking about the terminology, where they say stat.gov data on here. So it's got a whole load of bits where they're using reaching a peak of, and it gives you a number over here, first quarter, and then it's giving you some statistics. This is all of this to this is a complex sentence. Then nearly 1 in 12 of those over 65 who are still working, a significant increase from 1 in 22 working 10 years ago. So age-related charities have expressed concern. So they've got lots of facts and statistics, and they've got a quote from someone as well. So Mary Clark, get back onto my arrow there. So Mary Clark of Age Britain said it's time to look at how much work older people are doing. So it's just got a good bit of information. It's telling you exactly, pinpointing every little point on here. So it's a business article, and the purpose of it is to explain. So this audience, for this, it might be older people or those who are actually nearing retirement age. It might be for economists or people who are just interested in general news. So it's a wide range of audience here. Now, the article actually wants to explain what is going on, what the trend is at the moment, that people over 65 are not just retiring now, that they're working. So they've not gone into the other factors where it might be they might have a smaller than expected pension, or they might not be able to afford living on their pension. So it doesn't really go into that point. It's just mainly basic statistics. So it just uses statistics, charts, and quotes. These are used to reinforce what they're talking about. It gives it a credibility, it gives it an understanding, and again, it's objective. We talked a while ago where we talked about objectiveness, where you're, looking at every single point, or you're looking at other points where you're not being objective, where you're just saying my point is right. So it's got specific details. And the main points of this are that people over 65 are working more. It's increasing, and it's a steady trend, and that there's age-related charities are concerned about how much these people might be working. Now, activity 2, I'm actually going to set as homework for you, so I'll show you that at the end. So again, we've got the 5 W's. So a good way to find out what the details are in this is you've got who, when, where, what, and why. So we're going to just split this up now. So same thing again. Who are we talking about? So we're talking about over 65s here. What are we talking about? We're talking about people who are still working in this first sentence, that are at retirement age, but they're still working. Where is it happening? We're talking that it's happening in the UK. When is it happening? It's happening right now. And also, why has it happened? So it doesn't really go into why has it happened, why are these people doing this. It doesn't talk about what the reasons are against it. So it's not got that there, but it's got a bit of information about that it is happening, and it has happened over this many years, and this is the differences that we can see now. So we're looking at specific details. So we're looking at what are specific details. So now, for an example, you've got youth employment rose 4% in June. So that's specific detail. Global warming is increasing. That's just the main idea. It's just telling you it's increasing, but it's not giving you any sort of facts, or it's not giving you any information to reinforce it. It turns out coffee is bad for you. That's a main idea again. They're just telling you coffee is bad for you, that they've just found out, but they've not given you any statistics. This is a bit more specific now. He has now scored 8 goals in 10 appearances. So he had 10 football matches and he scored 8 goals within that. And then a degree in biology now costs over £10,000, and that's specific. So this is the difference between specific data and main ideas. So today, hopefully, you'll be able to identify what the purpose of a text is through its language and its format. You'll be able to identify what can be understood by the text by its main points. And then you'll also be able to look at specific details like facts and figures and statistics and quotations or anything that will help you to reinforce the information. So look at the 5 W's: who, when, where, what, why. Sometimes they're not all there, but this is the main idea to use. And then use these 5 W's to try and understand the text. So I'm going to go on to the homework that we're going to do. Let's find where it's hiding. There it is. So this is quite similar to activity 1. We're just going to look at the text, and I'm going to go through the first one with you, and I'll give you an idea of what sort of answers I'm looking for. Now, you've got one about a footballer over here. If I scroll down, you've got one about cooking, and then you've got one about the election, and it's got a few questions under each one. Now, if you'll notice one thing over here, I'll give it a second for the screen to catch up for you. The first question just says purpose. You only need 1 or 2 or a small sentence on here. Audience, a couple of words, just say who the audience is. It might just be 1 word, 2 words, or a small sentence. But when you get into 3, why are the details important? This bit here indicates that it needs to be a little bit more detailed. So make sure if you've got more than 1 line, that means it needs to be a nice sentence with a bit of detail in there. But let's go through this first section here, and I'll give you an idea of what sort of answers, or we can work together for that. So we're going to look at the following 3 texts. Varun, move off. So Ali Varun, soon to be a former agent, Simone Hercules, has confirmed that his client was pictured in a Liverpool shirt prior to his expected move last summer. So Ali Varun is a footballer, and he has an agent called Simone Hercules, and they saw him in a different club shirt, a Liverpool shirt, last summer. It was widely reported that Lily star Varun was snapped in a Reds shirt in anticipation for his 23 million signing being announced, but it was later claimed that these images had been faked on the internet. So they thought that he was about to sign up for Liverpool, but the images actually been faked. He was never in that shirt. Liverpool pulled the plug on the deal following complications with the World Cup winners' medical, and that has soured the relationship between Varun and Hercules, who reportedly no longer speak. So Hercules will no longer be Varun's agent when their agreement ends on April 17, at which point Varun will be free to appoint new representation. So what is the purpose of this text? Is it there to inform you, to describe, to persuade you, or to explain?
It's there to explain and describe the situation.
Yeah, it could be that as well, but mainly I would go for inform. So they're not really explaining exactly what's going on. They're just giving you the gist of it. They're just giving you an idea of what happened. If they were explaining, there'd be a lot more detail. And if they were describing, it would be a lot longer. So a great way to understand if it's inform or explain or describe, because they're very similar, is if it's inform, it's going to be quite short. If it's describing or explaining, as a point, they're going to be a lot longer. There's going to be at least 2-3 more paragraphs inside that, and they'll have a lot more details. These sentences are quite short, if you notice. So they're just giving you basic information. If they were doing a lot of description, it would be a lot bigger. So it'll be thicker, more sentences per paragraph.
That means it's inform.
Yeah, so it'll be inform on this one. Move my taskbar. There you go. There. So I'm just going to highlight that for you. And then who is the audience on this, do you think?
Varun's fans, I think.
Yeah, 100%, yeah, Varun's fans. I would also say that I would accept that because it's right. A sports fan. He's a sports player. I would do sports fans. Would also be good on that. And then why are the details important? So we're just going to look at on here why the details are important. So for this little section, I'd put down something like the details help to inform the reader of what is going on or what is happening with Varun's football career. Then I would also put down one more sentence because from what I can see, he's had a lot of issues. He's got medical issues. Somebody faked a picture about him being in a different football club shirt. He lost out on a lot of money because Liverpool pulled out after seeing a lot of things, and he had issues with the medical. So I would also put down he is in a complicated and unclear situation. There you go. So yeah, I would just put this little section like this. So why are the details important? Just two simple sentences on here. So the details are there to help to inform the reader of what is happening with Varun's football career, and he is in a complicated and unclear situation. And that's it. Just a couple. So read it, see what's happening, and just summarize it a little bit at the end in that section. So this is section 1 is about cooking, and you're going to tell me what's happening here. What is the purpose? Who is the audience? So who do you think, who's interested in cooking things? It could be families, it could be mums, dads, it could be anyone that likes food in general. If you look over here, they've actually got a little link on the article saying that click here for ingredients. So you can actually click on that if it was a real article, and it would give you a list of ingredients. So why are the details important? And then make sure you add something about this here that you can get onto a link about cooking and so on. And then the last one again is just about politics. They're talking about what's going on in Westminster and everything. This is a bit longer. And again, what is the purpose? Who is the audience? And why are the details important? So summarize it in this little section here. Why are they important? So that was for this section here. I'm going to turn the recording off.